do is to share some things with you. If the overall theme is this formation that Pope John Paul II called us to, one of the things at ICRES that we're absolutely certain has to be at the heart of any formation is the whole understanding of the baptism in the Holy Spirit. Because that's what's at the heart of the Charismatic Renewal. You know, if you just come to Charismatic Renewal because you like the songs, you'll stay a short while, but soon that will wear thin. And you know, the people who really enter into the renewal in its fullness are those whose hearts are on fire through the baptism in the Holy Spirit. That's what we're about, isn't it? That's the main thing. And just to let you know, again, this was a development of this call for formation, that one of the things ICRES did was we set up among our council a doctrinal commission. So a commission that would particularly be looking at theological issues that are the concern of the charismatic renewal. One of the things that the Doctrinal Commission worked on was the whole understanding of the healing ministry within the renewal and within the Catholic Church. And more recently, the Doctrinal Commission have been working on how we understand in the whole church, so not just in the renewal, but how we understand in the whole church, the theological understanding, if you like, of baptism in the Holy Spirit. And Bishop Joe Breck was heading up that Doctrinal Commission for us. And they've been working for about 2 years, putting together a text which speaks about the baptism in the Holy Spirit in the Catholic Church. And the reason for this is not because we feel we need to be issuing texts, you know, what's the point of a text? It's because we were getting requests in at the ICRES office on a fairly frequent basis from all over the world, along the lines of, you know, a man in Uganda writes in, "Please, can you help me? My bishop is wanting to know what's the theological basis of the charismatic renewal. Anything you can send me would be appreciated. Bless you." You know, signed. That kind of thing. And we thought, we need to have something that we can put in the hands of our church leaders, of our bishops, of our priests, that simply explains what it is that is at the heart of the charismatic renewal. So Bishop Joe worked with 2 theologians, Dr. Mary Healy, who lectures at the seminary, the Sacred Heart Seminary in Detroit, in America, and Monsignor Peter Hocken, who's one of the first founding fathers, if you like, of the renewal, and he's a very well-respected theologian. He's retired now, he lives in Vienna. And the 2 of them worked with Bishop Joe on making a text about the baptism in the Holy Spirit. And then they sent it out to about maybe 20 theologians all over the world to have their comments on this text. Now it's 86 pages long, so I'm not talking about a leaflet here. It's a substantial text. And then the theologians all came back with their remarks, and then all these were incorporated or not into the text. And then we received the final draft of the text. And then Bishop Joe said, you know, Bishop Joe said, I really feel we need to get together now some leaders of the charismatic renewal, who, not theologians necessarily, although we do need some theologians, who will come together and who will, you know, talk with us about the pastoral implications of this for the worldwide renewal. And so we planned with Bishop Joe that last March in Rome we would have a formal colloquium. They always call these things colloquiums in Rome. It's just a Vatican way of talking about it. It really means discussion. And we were sponsored by the Pontifical Council for the Laity, which is the dicastery that we work with closely as ICRES. And we had people from all over the world who came, invited leaders, because we were looking for specific contributions to this. And we were about 130, 140 people who came together to look at this text. And since that colloquium now, the redrafting of the redrafting of the redrafting is happening. And very soon we will have, certainly, first of all in English, we will have a text that you will be able to put in the hand of any, you know, person in the church who wants to know what exactly is this baptism in the Holy Spirit. And they're not just looking for a testimony answer, you know what I mean? And we'll also be producing, this might come a bit later, because when I say we, that probably means me, and I'm a bit busy. But we'll be producing a smaller booklet that maybe you could give to prayer group people, because you don't want to put in everybody's hand 86 pages of theological reflection, but we'll put together some small thing about this. So this document on baptism in the Holy Spirit, the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, covers everything really. It looks at the context, which obviously is the charismatic renewal, and then it looks at the biblical understanding of baptism in the Holy Spirit. There's a fascinating section, for me, I've just found it really interesting because I don't know too much about this, but about what the early fathers in the church, the patristics, said about baptism in the Holy Spirit. Really well put together. Then there's some sections on the theological reflection about baptism in the Holy Spirit, reflecting on things like what's the connection between what we call baptism in the Holy Spirit and the sacraments of initiation. Those kinds of theological reflection. Is baptism in the Spirit for every Christian? Those kinds of things. The institution on the charismatic dimensions of the church, so that whole ecclesiological dimension. And then the final section has some pastoral issues. Now, whenever we produce anything centrally, and you're dealing with pastoral issues, of course, what's a pastoral issue in Australia might not be a pastoral issue in Pakistan or in Colombia. You know, so we've chosen some fairly key things there that would be universal pastoral issues, but we're aware that in that area each person will need to you know, make it their own in terms of their own national expression. And what we did at the colloquium was we had some contributions at that point of our discussion of people from different parts of the world who shared on, you know, this whole thing of the pastoral experience of baptism in the Holy Spirit. And I have to say to you, we had a contribution from your very own John Dyker. It was really, really a great privilege for us to be able to get John, because, you know, I know many of you know, but John's a theologian, and he's, you know, studying these things at the moment. And, you know, to get somebody who's, you know, grappling with these issues at that level and sharing it on this pastoral perspective